Howdy y'all. So for my first mod showcase video, I thought we'd take a look at a mod for a favorite game of mine. Kerbal Space Program is a space program / space flight simulator of sorts. You pretty much control the space program of a race of creatures called Kerbals, and you fly vessels and launch space probes. It's fairly realistic and can be quite complex at times. However, it is a lot of fun once you get into it. However, there are a few areas lacking. There's not much you can do once you reach another planet or asteroid, and overall, it just feels at times there's not a whole lot of gameplay depth besides launching things and potentially blowing shit up. This is where mods can come in. They can add a lot more gameplay, a lot more complexity, in a good way. Now please do note, I use several mods, which are not the mod I'm covering today. I also use cheats for fuel, just so I can just easily get vessels and probes into orbit and into space. So today we're taking a look at Remote Tech. It's a mod for Kerbal Space Program that adds a bunch of new antennas and dishes, and a major new gameplay feature. In order to command and control any unmanned spacecraft or probe, you must have a direct link to the Kerbal Space Center, which is where you launch your vessels. Also, the further away your vessel is, the greater and bigger antenna that's needed. If you're in orbit around Kerbal, a small antenna will do. On the far side of the system, heading towards Elu, the game's version of Pluto, you'll need the largest dish in the game. Now, each antenna and dish have a certain distance they'll function. This also means the bigger the dish or antenna, the more power you'll need. A small dipole antenna, short distance, but very little power. The biggest dish available in the mod, gonna need a lot of power to make sure it functions, because it's a power hog. You also have to keep in mind that you're wanting to power all your scientific devices. So you need to make sure you have enough power to do sciencey stuff, and then transmit everything back to Kerbal Command. All in all, I highly recommend this mod if you're looking to do more in Kerbal Space Program. Now, as you watch the video, you'll see a few things. First is a green line that runs from your spacecraft or probe to either another craft or to the KSC. This means it is in contact with something else. Its antenna has linked up to either the KSC or to another probe. Now, you'll also see some kind of brownish white, off-white lines going from other crafts to another craft or the KSC. This is saying that probe or whatever is in contact with another. So basically it means you can daisy chain. You can have a space probe far side of the system sending signal back to a probe in orbit around Kerbin, which can then send the signal to the KSC. This allows the KSC to always be in contact no matter what. However, you're going to need several communication probes in orbit around Kerbin, and they need to be in range of each other so as to just a high orbit for them all. This allows them to have a greater chance of staying in contact with another probe, and as well as the KSC. So essentially, any lines you see going from craft to craft means there's contact between them. So you'll need to keep this in mind when building your comms network. All comms satellites must be in contact with each other, along with the KSC. Also, do note that any dishes on space probes that are not in orbit of Kerbin must be pointed at Kerbin in order to send and receive signals. So all in all, I would say this is a very interesting mod to play around with. It can be difficult and frustrating at times. The second your probe goes out of contact with the KSC, you can do nothing with it. It must retain contact. If it loses contact, as you'll see in the video, I have my probe shut down its antenna. It loses contact and I can do nothing with it. If it loses contact, that probe is just a giant hunk of metal and plastic floating through space. A giant paperweight, if you will. This is why you definitely will need to build up a significant communication system around Kerbin if you want to start sending out probes further into the system. So I'll include a download link in the description and also a buy link for the game. You can get Kerbal Space Program on Steam and GOG.com. I'd suggest GOG.com because, well, they're DRM free. I really think you should support this game. You should support the squad who made this amazing game and the people who have made this awesome mod. Look forward to future mods for this game sometime down the road. There's plenty out there and plenty of good ones. And thanks for watching.